Hey everybody, this is week 11 wrap up video. It's John.
And me, your other Kokomish David, and we wanted to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So the players that got over 30 points this week were Keenan Allen, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Robert Woods, and Adam Thielen. So two quarterbacks and three wide receivers.
And no running backs. And the winners this week are James, Israel, Tage, Benji, Paris, and Joe. Sadly, not me or John. And going right into it then, the Pies and Benji matchup. So Aaron Rodgers, aka Mr. Reliable, scored another 20 points for Pies against the top Indy defense. His tight end pickup paid off very well, scoring 24.4 points, though just as I said before, ESPN updated it, and he is now only a QB moving forward. Deontay Johnson finally gave Paez all those points that he's been wishing that he'd been getting all this time, scoring 24 solid points, more than solid, really. But McCaffrey, probably not expected to play till week 14. So that trade truly being a playoff only benefit.
For excuse me, for Benji, we got CEH, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, putting up points he hasn't gotten since week 1. Sorry, David, but good for Benji. It's a good trade because Justin Jefferson also got 17 plus points. That's more than Miles Sanders. She didn't even get double-digit points. We'll talk about that later. And listen, not a lot of downsides for Benji's team. Most of his players played really well and got double digits, which is what you need and what you expect from your players.
In our next matchup in the Israel Axel, Deshaun Watson, 30 plus point scorer, easily throwing 3 touchdowns against that terrible New England defense. Very different defense from what we saw last year. Hunt almost had a terrible day. Scored 9 points. Still not the best, but was really saved by a late touchdown and was stuffed at the goal line by the Eagles earlier and could have had a 16-point day. Really, that was the only good things the Eagles did that day. Kelson Woods both combined for 56 points. Holy crap. Good acquisition on Israel's part for a tight end right there. That's what you're really expecting in Kels. And Duke Johnson, though, only scored a lousy 6.5 points. That's probably his last chance at getting any points as the starter in Houston.
Axel, really? 2 bye week players. I don't know what's going on, man. Do you just not give a fuck anymore? Can you say comeback? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Patrick Mahomes, who falls under the Mr. Reliable label, scoring 20 plus points as well. Mike Davis coming back to life with 15 points against Detroit. David must be feeling stupid for dropping him, right, David? Right, David? Listen, it happens. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect. It's life.
All right. Calm down, John. In our third matchup in the Steph versus Tage, another loss by Steph, who is still, though, our league frontrunner. Alvin Kamara, for the first time, did not do Alvin Kamara-like things, not scoring 30 points. True shocker there. Mark Andrews, though, did end up scoring a good 20 points, which he hasn't done since week 5 and week 1. But he's still doing at least good, reliable work otherwise. Amari Cooper gave a solid 15-point performance in the Dallas comeback over the Vikings, which sucks because we have to hear Cowboys fans brag about it. Hopefully the Redskins put them in their place. Honestly, I really wish that both teams lost, but whatever. Ballsy move, though, on Steph's part to start the Eagles defense. Like, as an Eagles fan, just like, wow, because the whole team is a mess. But it paid off a serviceable 8 points. Better than my Tampa Bay defense, anyway.
DJ Contagious really locked down this week with a 20-point performance from Lockett. Fulgham played well as well as any Eagle player did on Sunday and got a measly 1.8 points. Eagles offense full of inconsistency. Won it in the trenches with a combined 33 points among his 2 starting running backs, Derrick Henry and James Conner. It was surprising to see James not score a TD in that Jacksonville defense. Though you should have got something from that Baltimore, as they gave you just nothing. 0 points. 0 points. That Baltimore defense, tough.
Yeah, that's
Tough.
definitely gotta hurt. In our Alyssa versus Paris matchup, Evans scored another 15 plus point game. Those who were saying that Evans' target shares or points were going to go down with the acquisition of Antonio Brown are really scratching their heads right now because he's been playing really consistent and getting good quality production, especially against a good Rams defense. Sadly, not everyone in the Bucks are sitting unfazed because Gronk only got 4.5 points. There's just too many mouths to feed in that offense. So I guess really Gronk's the one paying for it. Ridley scored a good 14 points against the breezeless Saints. And though the team overall played subpar, it was good to see Ridley playing as his usual self. Alyssa's run game, though, very weak as her running backs only combined for a total of 11 points. And funny enough, her running back on her bench, J.K. Dobbins, scored 18 points this week. Maybe look to do a trade sometime soon, but unfortunately not soon enough because the trade deadline was at 12 today.
So for Paris, Zeke just eating again in time for Thanksgiving with 19 points against that Vikings run defense, ending their 4-game winning streak with that Cowboys comeback. 2 negative scoring players on Paris's roster, and he still won. He still won. That's crazy. I have never seen that in all my years of doing fantasy football. And Hill just went off for 27 points against the Raiders. They had a great game last time they played before this. So that's just maybe a matchup we can see in the playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see division rivals going at it and being a high score affair. In the John versus Joe matchup, Cooks played as Cooks does. He scored 25 points, but his team is really the one that dropped the ball against the Cowboys, giving up that late W. Strong running game, though, as John's running backs combined for 42 points. Damn, that's also winning in the trenches. And his starting wide receivers put up serviceable numbers, 13 points each, though it was really his flex rookie, Michael Pittman, the wide receiver from Indianapolis, who scored the most at a 15.6. Good rookie pickup, John. And it really hurts to get 0 points because that's what Hayden Hurst got you. What a poor performance on that part.
If only I had played Dallas Goddard. That's all I got to say. But in a must-win game against me to kind of keep his playoff hopes alive, Cooper Kupp scored a much-needed 25.5 points. That is crazy. Winning it on a Monday night. Curtis Samuel put up 21 points again, looking like a crazy flex play against a lackluster Detroit defense. And Jared Cook just, laid an egg with only 1.6 points. But his Saints defense got him 17 points, and that's the just about the right amount of points that David needed to win his matchup.
Nice, John. A nice little jab there. So in the James versus me matchup, which I know oh too well, Keenan Allen got James 34.5 points. What the hell? And that was the top scorer from this last week. Ah, damn. DJ Moore on the bench for 21 points. So he played the wrong Carolina wide receiver and still beat me.
Mhm.
Joe Burrow tore his ACL and went down. At least you still have Josh Allen, James. And even though your QB went down, you still won. Darren Waller played his very best game of the season also against Kansas City, scoring 21 points. Again, the stars aligning just enough to go with that W.
Yeah, timing is everything, David. You just got to get that right click. But look, Devonta Adams scored you 23 points, so that was helpful, right? You needed 18 points, I'm sorry, from the Buccaneers defense, but only got one. Yeah. Yeah. But Will Fuller played, admirably with 14 points against that, like you said, crappy New England defense. But your running back, your team's running back, Miles Sanders scored you less than 10 points. That's tough. But listen, the Jets running backs, they're not even fantasy relevant, so I shouldn't really be talking. So our biggest projected blowout, I was wrong by saying it was going to be Israel and Axel, though. But it ended up being, I'm sorry, it ended being up Israel. It ended being up Israel and Axel, though. When you start two players on a bye, that's likely to happen. I think it's going to be Joe versus Paris this week. I think that because Joe has better wide receivers than Paris does. Paris has slightly better running backs, but Joe's team overall is just more rounded out. His defense and quarterback are better. Tight ends are kind of a wash. with Cook and TJ Hawkinson, even though TJ Hawkinson is just a little bit better. I think he has a tougher matchup this week, but that's my projection. Let's see what happens. Who knows?
And for the projected closest matchup, I was wrong, though the matchup that I chose, which is the Pies and Benji matchup, was very competitive as both teams scored at least 139 points or more. So that was definitely a good fight out between those two. And this week, I'm projecting the closest matchup to be Israel versus Benji. Again, Benji, I am sorry. For some reason, I look at your roster and I keep thinking that it's the closest. But this is for good reasons because I think this matchup is going to be like the one we saw last week, a high scoring affair between two good teams. So, but I think it's close because of that reason. Both teams have good running backs, not great, but good running backs that they've picked up throughout the season, who are getting serviceable points. Their wide receivers, again, great with great upside. If you look at it, you got Godwin on Israel's side, you got Robinson on Benji's sides. At least from fantasy perspective, those are guys that get you points. Um, their flexes are also wide receivers that have been proving themselves this season in Corey Davis for Israel and Brandon Cooks for Benji. Israel, though, got to give it to you, though, got the better Colts defense that's been proven against Tennessee earlier this season, as opposed to Benji, who has a Browns defense that plays questionably, especially against Jacksonville, which you'd think is a good matchup, but they've been surprising people these past few weeks. This week isn't forgettable for tight ends because Israel has Travis Kelce, while Benji has the Evert, that guy from LA. I don't even know him that well, but I know after talking about him for 3 weeks, I consider him forgettable. But I do think Israel has an edge there. Kickers are kickers. It's just too hard to predict, though. For some reason, I got that gut feeling that Benji's kicker is going to score twice Israel's team. Both teams I could see scoring really in the high 30s. And I think it'll end similar to John and Joe's matchup. Overall, I project Israel to win just because his wide receivers I think are subtly better. He clearly has a better tight end slash QB, and no, I don't mean tight end slash QB like Taysom Hill. I mean like his tight end and QB are better, and he has a proven better defense. But I think it'll be close because Israel's been on a really high wave of scoring points, and his team's got to naturally come down at some point. And I feel like Benji's the opposite. I think he's been riding the hot hand recently after being so cold when his team was being managed by Caesar. So I really think Benji's guys will outperform their projections, and that's why we'll see it to be a close game. And because of the season, guys, or me and John wanted to just give a little tidbits about our favorite holiday foods. John?
So my favorite holiday food, my favorite, holiday dessert would have to be apple pie. Okay. Now, I've been moving over a little bit to pumpkin pie, but got to keep it classic with the apple pie. My favorite side dish is definitely stuffing, with or without sausage. We're talking pre-vegetarian, John. Those are my two favorite holiday foods.
And for my favorite holiday foods, I don't really do desserts. I'm more of the guy that if I'm still hungry, I want seconds. So if I'm talking about food, I'm actually going to keep it with a good consistent staple, and that's mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, why? Can't have turkey without it, right? Exactly.
That's
Anywho, guys, that's a little segment from me and John for our favorite holiday foods. And now for announcements.
So with again it being past week 9, so if the league, the NFL decides to just stop everything and postpone the entire league and all the games, Steph would currently be our winner. As it's going right now, it's looking like we're going to get into the playoffs, which is a good sign, and we're going to have some competitive matchups. I'm hoping for the best. So just keep that in mind.
And guys, also keep in mind that there's no more game time meetups just because of the increasing COVID numbers. And trade deadline, that was today at 12. So if you just realized it like me, you're too late. I thought it was tomorrow, but nope, it was today at 12.
So the teams on a bye, zero. No teams are on a bye, which is good because it allows for the best rosters on every team, and we get to have some great football. I mean, we have what I think 2 games tomorrow for Thanksgiving, and we have 9 games or something like that. I don't know. I'm sorry, I could be wrong. We have a lot of games on Sunday. Let's put it like that, and 1 game on Monday. So we got some football this weekend. Let's watch it. Let's have a good time. Thanks for watching Week 11 recap. See you later.
Take care, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.